Hey guys, Erin England with Revolved Realty here with my Christmas manicure video. This is going to be a combination of some different techniques, primarily though the Femi Beauty Lazy Girl technique. It's modification of that, and added some additional hand painting. So I've got my high-end holder here. I've got the acrylic tips that I want all measured out. I've got them prepped. I used pH bond on the inside and used a buffer block on the inside of all the tips, and then a buffer block on the outside of the tips just to help the product adhere. And the design I'm going to do is in honor of the lovely and talented Isla, who discussed this design with me in depth, and we agreed that it should definitely include a gnome. And also in honor of my favorite co-hostess with the mostest, Kim Savage, who is a big gnome fan. So let's hope I can pull this off and not make it look terrible. Sounds like my dogs are fighting in the background, so just ignore them. I'm going to. So I'm going to do the gnome on the ring finger. So you can see it's frosted looking. This is an acrylic tip. I may switch to the gel style just because the acrylic and polygel and layers is a real booger to remove. And yes, I said booger again, and I meant booger. So the design, of course, the top of the nail is going to be here. So we want the little gnome guy here. So I tried to cheat. It's not really cheating. I tried to use a pencil and pre-draw the gnome shape on the what I hoped the etching with the buffer block would do in the acrylic enough for me to draw on it. It didn't. I know some people have micron pens, but I have spent so much money on supplies. I just don't want to do that anymore. So that means I'm going to have to hand paint. Hooray! You can hear the excitement in my voice. Okay, so top of the nail, bottom of the nail, and I'm using a square-shaped nail, partially because it's just what I had on hand, and I think it might be nice to have a little bit broader base to do the design on. So I'm gonna put this little guy here. So I thought I would start with the hat first. Typically, I would do the nose first because it's, you know, centralized design and the nose kind of centers you. But I'm going to be doing the nose at the end with builder gel, so I can't do it first. So I thought I'll do the hat first, and then we'll do the whiskers. Of course, I'm going to cure in between. I've got my little mini light here to do that with. So I picked out this really pretty red to do his hat. So it's a lavender violet. It's a really pretty red. And I'm just gonna use the top of my styrofoam cup here as my paint palette. Why not? So it's really, really dark and really, really glittery. Very pretty. And then the body under the beard of this little guy is another lavender violets color. This was a kit I got back when I was doing just gel nails, and you can see, oh, it's so beautiful. Perfect Christmas colors. Put a dollop of that there too so I can get to it. Of course, try to put them far enough away so they don't run together. Here's the builder gel I'm going to use for his nose at the end. So now my white. Yeah. So I kind of kicked around the idea of using white builder gel, but I wasn't sure how well it would kind of do. So I'm going to use just some plain old meet across gel nail polish, just in plain white. Yeah. Also, I'll go ahead and put this on top of the little container here too. I don't think I've got enough light here that it's going to cure just from the overhead light, but we'll have to see. All right, so here is my gel tip, well, my acrylic tip that I'm going to put gel paint on. So I'm thinking hat here. Now, here's the thing, because I'm going to be doing a lazy girl underneath this, I really need to be careful that everything I do is not so opaque that the polygel won't cure underneath this design. So I've got to be mindful of that. So if I have to go a little bit lighter initially, I'm going to go back over in the end with some glitter after I put on the nail and done the polygel attachment. That way I still have kind of that opaque look afterward, but it's translucent enough now that it should still cure. And I'm going to go ahead and leave a space for the nose, but it doesn't have to be perfect, I know, simply because it's going to be a three-dimensional builder gel nose. Now let me take a look here. That's pretty good. Boy, my dogs are really not getting along tonight. It's not the time for that, fellas. All right, so there's my little gnome hat. There. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Trying to keep in perspective where the beard and all that's gonna go. All right, boys, cut it out now. Yikes. Let me go see if I can referee this boxing match. Be right back. I'm back. Dogs calm down, etc. So I flash cured that with my little miniature light. I've got it right here off camera. So I'm pretty happy with that. You don't want to mess with it too much because it didn't get a full 60-second cure, but I think you can get the idea there of the hat. So now I'm going to just go ahead and go in and do the little whiskers. It's going to be a little tricky since it's clear, but I'll do my best here. So I'm going to put you guys down there. Need my little thinner brush. You know, you get your favorite brushes here. We're going to try this guy first. I got long brushes, etc., but I think I'm going to try this first. And I decided to get some 91% alcohol slip solution since I noticed my polygel, the newer stuff I got, it's not definitely not of the expensive variety, but got some really pretty colors, so I'm going to use them, whether they're high quality or not. All right, so might be able to hold that in a way that I can see a little bit with the glove. All right, yeah, maybe not. It's always fun trying to do this on camera. No, I don't like the brush strokes on that. Now that's sometimes part of the trick of doing gnomes, is you've got to get the brush strokes fine enough that you can see. So I am going to switch to the other side because I really need to see what I'm doing. And I decided when I was going to do this gnome, you know, he's got the little body and you really can't usually see it because it's covered up with his beard, but I thought it might help if I went ahead and did his little body. So I think I'm going to do that, and then I might be able to see his beard hair better. So I am on the concave side of the nail, the underside of the nail. It is a little tricky because, again, trying to keep everything translucent enough that it'll still cure polygel underneath the design. And I do think this is the way to go. All right, little gnome guy. Let me see how that looks on the other side. All right, not bad. I don't have to worry too much about, you know, how perfect it is up near the hat, of course, because I'm going to be covering that up with beard hair. So I'm going to try to concentrate the color a little bit more towards the bottom, a little bit farther over than I wanted to be. So the nice thing, rubbing alcohol works for this type of application to, you know, to clean up gel, just like it does polygel and builder gel. All right, so I think it might be a little cattywampus. I think I was a little overzealous here. Let's put some of that green just to go back. So smart. Oh, so smart. There's a good word for the day. Overzealous. All right, let's see if I like that better. Being a perfectionist can be a bit of a booger sometimes. Oh, there's that word again. Yes, I like to say booger when I'm making videos. What the difference is between boogers and broccoli? Kids will eat boogers. All right, so I'm going to cure this for about 10 seconds off camera. Make sure I'm pointing it away from my mounds of gel, or it'll cure my little palette of gel colors and not get me where I want to go. So just a 10-second cure will do that. So hopefully now I can see well enough to do the white. You know what though? I'm going to try that little thin brush, but I honestly am thinking that I may wind up going to white builder gel because I don't know that the white gel polish has quite the body or the stiffness that I need. Okay, so here it is cured, and so I'll be able to see his little beard hairs now as I'm painting them. Well, let's see. I'm going to go to my super thin brush here, and I'm sure I'll be relying on it pretty heavily when I do snowflakes. Yes, there's snowflakes in this because, you know, can't do anything easy or simple. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing, right? Right. All right, so we're going to see how this looks. All right, it'd be helpful if I put my little design on camera. So I got some feedback out in viewer land about things not being centered and what have you, and I just want to say I know that's the case, but I am not a professional nail person. I am just someone who enjoys doing their nails and sharing the tips and tricks they pick up along the way. So I don't know about you guys, but that is not opaque enough for me. I don't like it. So I am going to go to white builder gel. Hope I'm not going to be sorry about that, but too late. That's what's going down. All right, so I did happen to bring white builder gel with me on camera. This is the Savaland multi-pack. And I do like Savalan products. Savalan makes my favorite, my all-time favorite primer, base coat, and top coat. All right, so this is the Savalan Builder Gel. Yeah, it's a lot thicker and more opaque. So I'm going to put a dollop of it here. On my cup. I think it's gonna, it might be harder to work with, but I think it's gonna look better in the end. And where's my nail? Okay, here it is. Okay. So, long thin brush again. All right, let's give her a try. Yeah, definitely more opaque. Definitely better coverage. And anyway, you know, I certainly don't mind critiques. Not at all. But definitely prefer the constructive ones. But if you guys have suggestions or recommendations or requests or whatever, let me know. All right, I am going to do a quick cure now. I'm not done with his beard, but I want to make sure the little whiskers kind of stay defined. I'm definitely happier with how this is turning out than with the gel polish. So again, we're just going to do a quick flash cure, 10 seconds or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, let's check our little guy. All right, yep, he is definitely shaping up. I think the Builder Gel was definitely the play, as I like to say. All right, so let's add a little bit more to Mr. Gnome's facial hair repertoire. Don't want him to be a naked gnome. But I am hoping maybe Santa Claus will bring me a GoPro and maybe a boom arm. And then I should be able to make, I think, a higher quality video. But again, this is just for funsies, guys. Okay. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna flash cure that again. You know, this is not taking as long as I was afraid it was going to. I was like really concerned this is going to be super fussy and take forever, etc., etc. But you know, honestly, it's going faster than I thought it was going to. I have 0 complaints. All right, let's take a look. Mr. Gnome. He definitely has a gnome-like appearance. I think it'll definitely be brought completely all the way there when we put, number 1, the nose on, but also we put the polygel underneath it so you can really see everything. Okay, I am pretty happy with that. I'm one of these people, I'm trying to learn to not keep adding things and adding things and adding things, because when I do that, that's when mistakes happen and then I'm sorry. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Hallelujah. All right, I'm going to go on the back though. Let's lay that here. It's flash cribbing and I don't want to push my luck. I've got this gray, kind of a charcoal color. I'm just going to draw his little hands on the underside. That way, if I make a boo-boo, number one, it won't stain the white builder gel beard. And number two, it's easier to wipe off. Just period. All right, so here we go. So here's this little charcoal gray. It's gonna give him, trying to get this on camera so everybody can see, and I really should have pulled my hair back. When I do the next segment, I'm gonna do that. Well, I'm trying to be so cautious, I completely missed it. All right. Let me see, can you even see that? A little bit. You know, honestly, guys, I think I like it without the mitten. I think he's cute the way he is. Okay, so now, do I put a little dot on the end of his hat? Here I said I was not gonna overdo, but you know what? I'm gonna put a little thing on the end of his hat because it's Christmas time and I'm all about some bling. All right, and this is again from that Lavender Violets kit of all gel polish. Tell you what, it has been very useful. All right, so I got that really pretty glitter. I'm just going to take my dotting tool and clean it off first and attempt to pick up a small bead. Aw, she cute. Let me do a quick flash cure. Yep, and I'm glad I did that. That's cute. Yeah, no. What else is a chick gonna do, you know? Life's better with a little glitter. All right, stop. Okay, that's cured pretty well. All right, so here is the little guy so far. So now the pièce de résistance, we need to put his nose on. So, okay. I've got a fairly neutral colored builder gel. I'm gonna get the top of my other full moon barbecue styrofoam cups that I have had around. But you know what? That and some poster putty has worked pretty well. I cannot complain. So we'll just start with the little. All right, so, all right, gnome friend. I think I'm gonna try dotting tool first. Make sure there's no glitter on it. All right, there was a little glitter on it. Let me clean that. I don't want there to be glitter in his nose or people think he has acne. Okay, so here we go. Well, the dotting tool was definitely the play. Hey, honey.
Huh?
Hello.
Hi.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right. I might want it just slightly wider. Not a whole lot. Just to make sure I cover in any of the space here. That's part of why they're cute, is their nose. I think I'm gonna touch that up though, just a bit. This nose got slightly out of its borders. Sounds like me sometimes with my lip liner. I'm gonna go ahead and flash cure this, and then if I want to add, I will, but this is the shape I want, so let's flash cure it. Wish there's maybe a slightly darker color for his nose, but I don't know, he's pretty cute, and I'm probably overanalyzing, as I am want to do a good bit of the time. All right, let's see. Again, it's kind of hard to tell since he's cute though. If there's anything I can do to maybe add a little contrast near the nose, but if I do that, I might mess it up. So I think I'm just gonna maybe add just a slight little bit more builder gel on this one edge and just see. I'll use the smaller. Builder gel is self-leveling, so I don't have to be worried too much about it being lumpy or bumpy there on the nose. That I already did. Just give it a little bit more. A little bit more height. Maybe that was what I was missing. A little bit more height. Then it sticks out. And you can see it's not beard. All right, I'm gonna cure that. And again, quit while I'm ahead. Oh, he's cute. So I'm gonna have this on my ring finger with a pink color as the polygel underside. Maybe more like a pinky peach. I'm still on the fence about which polygel color I'm gonna go with, but it'll be in the pink family. And there's going to be snowflakes on it. And then we're going to have red nails on the other fingers with some random snowflakes on the red nails. That's the plan. All right, let's look at Mr. Gnome guy. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. He's pretty cute, I think. He's a keeper. Again, once you have polygel behind it, I think it'll be even more evident what he is. All right, guys, I am back to do my application onto the actual nail. So I'm doing this the next day. I spent extra time kind of making sure my snowflakes were how I wanted them because Mama's a little OCD, but I am pretty happy with them. And I did go back since it'd been a few hours, well, more than a few hours. I slept like a baby since I had put the protein bond on the underside. I'm going to show you what I use. It's just a nail primer pH bond that I got off of Amazon. And it just helps things adhere better. I put a layer on my nail, and then I put a layer on the underside of the acrylic tips. Because if you think about it, the acrylic tip is going to have to adhere to the polygel. And so we want that to do it, really, really well. And then the other underside polygel layer is going to have to adhere to the nail underneath. So I am really excited about the way these turned out. So I am hoping that they're going to last a while. So I'm trying to do everything I can nail prep wise to hedge my bets. And guys, if I can tell you anything that I have learned over the years and time doing builder gel, polygel, and dip powder is nail prep, nail prep, nail prep. It is the difference between your nails lasting and not lasting. It's annoying, it's boring, it's scraping skin off your nail plate, which sounds disgusting, and it kind of is, but it makes a huge difference. So I'm getting set up. So I like to use rubbing alcohol as my slip solution. I don't really like slip solution all that much. It is a nice nail cleanser, which is a good thing because, when you buy a polygel kit, usually they're really nice and give you slip solution, but I don't like it. I like alcohol, and I'm actually going with a higher percentage, purity, whatever, of alcohol this time because the polygel that I'm using is stiffer, and the 72% alcohol that I used on it last time did okay, but it did seem like I was fighting it a little bit. So I'm hoping maybe the more potent rubbing alcohol will get the job done a little better. So I've got a couple brushes here. My gelin brush, it's got the picker tool, so I've got it out, but the brush itself is getting a little gnarly. So, they last pretty well, and I'm sure I'll keep using it for a while because, my motto is use what you got. But, brushes do wear out over time, and we are dipping them and soaking them and cleaning them in alcohol over and over and over again. So, it only stands to reason that after a while, the bristles might break down, etc. So these are feeling a little stiff, probably because I didn't get all the polygel out the last time. So I'm going to let those sit for a little bit. The nice thing about polygel, there's a lot of nice things about polygel, but polygel itself does not cure unless it's under a light. So even if there's polygel, uncured polygel in the bristles, because, why would I stick the brush under the light? That should loosen up and come out with a little bit of work. I grab my paper towels too. I'll tell you what, paper towels, guys, if I could go back in time and invest in any products, it would be Velcro, applesauce, and now paper towels. When I was a speech therapist in special needs, I went through more Velcro than you can believe. And applesauce, when I was doing swallowing therapy, we mixed so much stuff with applesauce, it was insane. And paper towels, man, what a great invention. I know they're not always friendly to the environment, but I tell you what, they are an absolute must when it comes to doing nails. So I have, here we go. As I say, I was so smart. And pulled out my polygel colors. I'm going to be using this kind of medium nude pink on the accent nails and this brand new red color that I got. And this one is one of the main reasons I'm using the stiffer, stronger rubbing alcohol It is a thicker poly gel. Look at that color. Isn't that pretty though? I'm excited. That's going to be on the non-accent nails, and there's going to be white snowflakes with silver accents on top of that. So it should be really, really pretty. Now I am going to do one extra little step because I'm going to take this glove off. Had my gloves on before I started touching the nails, so I didn't mess up anything and add any oil. But because my natural nails have gotten kind of weak because the few times that I removed my polygel incorrectly damaged the nail. So from about here on, the nail is very thin, very brittle, and not very healthy. So I always do a layer of dip powder under my polygel. Number one, to protect the natural nail, give it a little extra thickness, but I use a contrasting color. So when I use my electric drill to remove the polygel, I know how far to go down and then stop. So I use a color that's not any of the colors of the polygel, so it's a contrasting color. So I use kind of a baby blue color, but because the pink polygel might be slightly, pale enough, I don't want the blue to show through and ruin the effect of the pink. So I'm going to put just a thin layer of white builder gel down over that nail, the two accent nails, just to make sure that I don't ruin the effect. So it's my same Savaland white builder gel that I used to do my snowflakes last night. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just camouflaging that blue a little bit so it doesn't mess up the pretty color of the pink. And it also adds an extra layer of stiffness too, which is good. I have normally pretty healthy little apex, but because my nails were damaged by me, the apex is not as pronounced in the damaged areas, especially because I had one episode where I filed down with my e-file too far, and it took some of that natural layer off. So there's the white. So I'm just going to do just a quickie cure on that. And then I'm going to start my polygel application using the Femi Beauty Style Lazy Girl method. So let me do a flash cure on that real quick. So anyway, guys, I know I chat a lot. So if you don't want to hear me prattle on, feel free to mute me or speed this film up. I know you can fast forward, etc., etc. But for those people that like to hear me prattle on or want the extra tips, feel free to just hang in there and watch me in real time. I think sometimes it's helpful to do this in real time so you can see how long this stuff actually really takes. I love a lot of the nail videos that you have out there of these really high-end, very talented people. But a lot of the time they do their videoing, filming, whatever, and they speed through a lot of it. So you get the impression that doing a manicure like this, a design like this, takes less time than it actually does. So I think it's nice in real time to see how long it really does take someone, a real human being, to do it. So, there you go. I know, I think it was Long Hair Pretty Nails did a live video where she did a manicure, and I think it was 4 hours. And, I didn't watch it, but I appreciated it because, it really does give you that idea of, this is not a quick process, especially if you're a DIYer like I am and you have OCD and you're a perfectionist like me. There's always the risk and probability, in my case, of overthinking, overdoing, etc. So there you are. So I've got my little layer of white, so you can see it should not pollute the pink color up underneath it. And I'm going to set that aside and go grab my big lights over here. I know I've talked about it before, but it is an absolute must to have a very high-powered, as you can see mine's a little dirty, high-powered UV nail lamp if you are going to do polygel. And the more opaque the polygel, the thicker the polygel, the more important it is for you to have a really high-powered lamp. Sorry, moving plugs around. There we go. So I've got my high-powered lamp here. It's a 120, which is great. I've seen some of the kits on Amazon have 48 watt lights or UV lights. I've seen some even have 36. I've never had good luck with anything lower than 48, and quite frankly, higher than 48 is what I would recommend, especially if you are a beginner, because when you're first learning how to use polygel, sometimes you're not sure if it cured or not. All right, so this is the Femi Beauty style lazy girl type technique. So since the nail design was really centered on this little gnome guy, I think we'll put him on first. So I'm just verifying that this is the right nail and the right size. I did this morning, since I had extra time, go back through and I took my nail file and I just made double sure that the end of the nails, especially at the cuticle line, really match the cuticle line well. You know, this brand really does do a nice job with my nail. It fits it well, but you know, everybody's different, and I needed to round it a little bit and narrow it in a couple of places because I'm super excited about this particular design, and I'm hoping that it's going to go on nicely and it's going to stay on nicely. So I want to do everything I can to make sure it fits properly. Okay, so here's the nail. I'll put it here. I'm going to do the pink behind it. So this is Gelin number 14, and this came in a kit that I have along with this well-loved, well-used picker tool. All right, so I am going to just apply it directly to the nail. I don't think I need the picker tool for this. I might add some, but the idea here is you put in a fairly thin layer. So we'll see if I have extra there, I'll just push it out the end. But you're going to go to the cuticle line first, and you want to be fairly thin at the cuticle line. Now, I did learn when I did my my first successful lazy girl for my butterfly manicure, and it's on my channel somewhere, that if you go too thin at the cuticle line, then you wind up not having enough product, and then you have gaps. You know, the good news is you can add builder gel after the fact up underneath it if you have some areas that didn't get enough. And one thing I've noticed too, it's really important that you pay attention to getting the polygel all the way to the edge of the extension. Otherwise, you wind up with kind of a weird looking naked clear spot where polygel should be, and doesn't give you that pretty effect that you're wanting. So something else I learned the hard way. And also, I'm going to add a little bit, but when you are putting the polygel in, if you have, let's not do that, whoops. If you have something painted on the top side, you want to be careful to check and make sure that you didn't add too much, and so it's gooped out on the top side. Otherwise, you may wind up damaging the nail design you did on the top. So, and one nice thing about this style or this technique is it's forgiving. I love forgiving stuff. Jesus is the ultimate example of forgiveness from the Lord. But having forgiving products to work with, especially when you're a DIYer, is super, super helpful. All right, now let me check. Now, one of the great things about this technique is you don't have to worry so much about the shape on the top of the nail because all the poly gel is underneath the nail, but you don't want so much that it's a big goopy mess. Now, there is a definitely reduced amount of filing and buffing that goes on with this method, which is fantastic. And most of it goes on under the nail, which is really cool. All right, so let's see. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So it's a fairly thin layer. I hope it's enough to keep it on there. So you can see any extra, you just can kind of brush off the end. All right, so this is my ring finger. So you're going to slide it on, trying not to push too much of the product out on the skin, but getting enough product there at the cuticle line so it'll adhere. Okay, so let's check here. I'm glad I took that extra time to make sure that I had really good shape and contour to the natural nail at the cuticle line. That helps a ton. All right, now you can see I've got a little bit of product kind of squirting out there, the very edges, which is fine because I'm going to go around with the brush and clean that up, but it also tells me that I have enough product there that it's all the way to the edge. So now this is something that I've learned too. It's really important that when you're doing your cleanup, you don't flood the area that you're cleaning up full of alcohol, because if you have a brush that's just soaked with alcohol, it can get up underneath the nail. And since alcohol is used to thin out, then you can imagine it can also damage the integrity of the polygel there at that spot where you're working and then cause lifting later. And since I really don't want lifting here, now on the underside of the nail, you can see, okay, I've got some extra goopy here. So I'm gonna go through again with a brush that's got alcohol on it, but I'm gonna go initially, first of all, get it off my skin, because I noticed that polygel sitting right on my skin may be an irritant. Right, and now this is another thing too. I've got this extension where I want it, so that means I have to have a very, very, very light hand as I am doing this part, because you can imagine it would be very easy to just knock that nail right off because it's just sitting on top, and I am really just trying to get the polygel off my skin and tapered, because I'm going to have to go in and I'll have to thin that out somewhat with the nail drill, which works really well for that. I have some extra, but I'm really more concerned about getting it off my skin. So in case that is what's contributing to all of my dry skin that I've had lately with my polygel nails, that I am doing that. And I can fix with a nail drill. All right, so there's one little spot there that looks a little bit naked. So if I can brush some polygel back to that spot, I will. But again, I know me, and I don't want to overthink and then mess up. So, all right, I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty happy with that. There might be a little bit of polygel here at the cuticle line, but not enough really to write home about. All right, it looks like it's on the nail well. Give it just maybe a touch more on the underside. Again, I just want to make sure I'm not causing skin irritation, because I can shape the underside of this sucker with the nail drill. I don't have to do everything now. Maybe just a slight little bit of oozing still, but nothing terrible. All right, so here we go. So there's my little gnome guy. I definitely am glad that I put some white builder gel under that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cure him in place. I've got my high-powered light here. I'm going to cure it for a full 60 seconds. I know some people just do a flash cure, but I want to go ahead and cure him all the way because I like the placement. And again, I can fix that thickness with my big girl drill after it's cured out just a little bit on the skin. Like I said, I am suspicious of polygel may be contributing to some of my skin irritation, so I'm going to hedge my bets. All right, so here we go. I'm going to pop it in here for 60. So that's really it. That is the lazy girl technique. Takeaways, it's much better, much more effective to have a nail tip that fits your nail well. I may try doing some gel tips. The acrylic ones, though, are nice and stiff, so if I'm doing a design where I'm having to hand paint, I think acrylic might be the way to go. I haven't tried any gel ones yet. I'm not sure how flexible they are. I'll probably have to get some and give them a shot. They may be easier to remove. The acrylic ones, because they're stiffer, thicker, etc., they are a little bit more of a booger to remove, but you know, I've accepted that. I am at peace with that. So, but we'll try some gel ones and just kind of experiment. But so this one is almost done, and just for fun, just so you can see what the red looks like, I'm going to do the pinky nail next to it on camera, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera, and then I'll come with what it looks like. So here we are. Here's my little gnome guy. He's cured on there pretty well. I will cure the underside, by the way, by itself. I'll do another shot of that, but that's, you know, that is not bad. I'm not angry at it. Now the little gnome himself, I may be adding some extra glitter to his hat, but I can do that after the fact with clear base coat, and I have some really cute fine red glitter dip powder. So we'll see. TBD, as my kids say. All right, so we're gonna do the pinky next. Come here to me. All right, because it's the one right next to it. And it's red. So again, you can see I just very gently altered the shape at the cuticle line so it fit well. And in fact, this one was slightly wider on my natural nails, so I narrowed it. That's one thing I've learned too, guys, is, you know, you can pretty effectively alter the shape of these without ruining them. You know, it's like with most things, I'd rather them be a little bit too big than too small, because of course you can always add. You can't, you can take away, but you can't add. So I'd rather start a little bit bigger and then gently shape down than the other. So, okay, this is a bright fire engine red polygel. Ooh, I'm excited to get this one on. So again, I am going to start by gently working the polygel towards the cuticle line. And since this is such a dramatic color, I need to make sure I get it all the way to the edge of the nails, or it'll definitely be evident that I missed some spots. So when I move my hand, it is somewhat translucent. All right, and I had extra rubbing alcohol there on my brush. I need to be careful with that. Now, if you do accidentally get too much alcohol on your brush and it's too mushy or too wet, what did I do that for? Okay. See? Isn't it good to see someone mess up? So when you mess up, you'll go, it's not the end of the world. And that's another great thing about polygel is it is forgiving, and you can mess up and you can redo and you can fix. And guys, ultimately, and this is so true, I forget which nail person said it, but it is just the most wonderfully true statement. Honey, you can fix anything with glitter. So if you get to the end and you missed a spot or something isn't exactly the way you wanted it, slap some glitter on there. No one will ever know but you. And, you know, sorry guys, keep that on camera. Life's better with glitter anyway. All right, so let's see. We're gonna check. So I want to flip it over gently. Now you can see there, see, it's a little bit too clear there at the edge. So I'm going to go back in and add a little bit more. Work it backward a little bit more. And see, with this super thick polygel too, that's one of the reasons I went with the more potent alcohol for my slip solution, because when it's thick and sticky, and you need something that is going to be something that's going to kind of level the playing field. All right, so I'm going to flip this over and let's see. All right. Oh, that is going to be so cool. All right, just to kind of give you an idea. Yeah, I'm going to work a little bit more back towards the cuticle line. It may wind up gooping out a little bit more on my skin, but because of the, you know, the color or coloration, amount of pigment, however you want to put it, I'd rather have to do a little bit more cuticle line cleanup than be sad and have to take off and redo my nail because it wasn't opaque enough at the cuticle line. All right, let's see. That's better. Yeah, again, a little too clear here on this one side. So I'm going to work a little bit more into the spot. Flip it over and check my work. All right, let's give it a shot here. So I placed it on. You can see there's some space there. Now, one nice thing though with this really, really dark polygel is you can move and see. Now, okay, not happy with that. See what happened there? You can see a little bit more of the blue than I want. So I'm going to pop this off and I'm going to add a little bit more polygel to the inside. And that's the thing too. Polygel you can add. Go back to my other brush. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You can add. And if you haven't cured it yet, it'll stay. And you can smooth it out, and you can fix it, and you can tell it it's pretty, and you can, all the things, right? So it's better that I not push down quite so far on this little guy. So note to self, do not push down hard enough so you can see the nail underneath. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so now my glove is sticky. So I've got my little alcohol swab paper here. I'm gonna clean off my glove. All right, so you can see it's kind of sitting above the nail, so you want to push down and slide back. Okay, I am happier with that. Tell you what though, I may just do a quickie builder gel layer of white on my other nails, just as a precaution. All right, that is not bad. Now you can see I've got a ton of extra poly gel under there. So again, I know I'm gonna be going through and shaping that on the underside, so I'm not gonna get super freaked out about that. I am going to clean around the cuticle area, again with just a damp brush, because I don't want to ruin the integrity of the poly gel there at the cuticle line, because I don't want premature lifting, because I like this manicure, I can tell. All right, underside, again, gentle moving of poly gel away from skin before curing. Of course, you don't want a solid wall of extra thick poly gel. That would look dumb and gross and is unnecessary, but just far enough away from the skin that you can keep the irritation to a minimum, because I refuse to be developing an allergy to this stuff. Nope, nope, not gonna allow that. Not claiming it, not allowing it, not even entertaining it. All right, so as I was working on the other side, it pushed a little bit more out on the cuticle. I'm gonna go back through and get that. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, you can't really see the blue, but I still just may do just a pale white, just a really light coat of builder gel, just to make sure. So that might help me speed things along. Okay, so there you go. There is red nail number 1. Make sure that there's not too much poly gel there again, because if I cure it, it's on there, and the only way to remove it is with a drill or file. And since I've got a little polka dot right next to that guy, I want to make sure that I don't have to get a nail file after it. Okay, so there we go. So there's the top side, pretty shape. There's the underside. Again, it's going to need a little nail drill action. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cure it for 60, and I will come back when all the nails are on, and we can talk about glitter and top coat. But very Christmassy, very pretty. I'm pleased. Thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I applied all the nails using the Femi Beauty Lazy Girl method with polygel on the underside and a clear tip on the top. I painted the tops already, and I am super excited about how they're turning out. Of course, I spent a lot of time filing, shaping, and buffing. The undersides were a hot, thick mess, but of course they're gonna be. So I used my electric drill. I like to call it my big girl drill, and I really am really happy with the outcome. So a couple things. I'm going to buff a couple areas where the sanding band slipped up and over the nail, and I'm also going to do a little, so you can see it's kind of scratched, and I don't want that showing through when I do my top coat. And you can see my little gnome guys are super adorable, but not quite as vibrant and glitter-tastic as I would like them. So I am going to add some additional glitter. I wanted to clear off whatever that was so you could see him. So he's cute and glittery, but you know what? It's Christmas and there's just no such thing as too much glitter. Also, this little space up here, this little naked negative space, too naked and too negative. So I'm gonna add in a little bit more of the glittery gel. If I can get it open with these long nails now. Surprise! Here we go. I add a little bit more of that around the top of my little gnome friends to take up a little of that negative space. It's just a little too negative and too naked, so. I've got a little bit of the white builder gel because that seems to work better than just white plain gel polish. So I think we'll make it snow on my little man here a little bit. You know, it's Christmas. He's got that warm beard. He can take it. So I'm going to flash cure it. Got my little quick flash cure lamp here. Off camera, I'll give it about 10 seconds. And then, of course, I'll add in some glitter because I am me. And glitter is good. I was kind of hoping when I had grandchildren, I'd get to be Gigi because that would be short for glitter grandma, but you don't always get to pick. So hopefully they'll come up with something good. I kind of like glammy, you know, because why not? It seems kind of glamorous, you know, glammy, get it? And I'm just not quite, I think, mentally in the place where I could be someone's granny. And my mother-in-law, who we just lost, she was granny, and she will always be granny to me, so. Let's see. I think I'm all right with that. Well, you know what? No, I'm not. Perfectionism. Pop in its ugly head. This one, I don't like it. I'm gonna move it down a touch. Yeah. That's no better. All right, we'll flash it 10 seconds. Then we're gonna get out the silvery glitter, and then we're gonna bedazzle my little man's hat here. You know, I have so much really pretty glittery, well, just pretty dip powder period, but I've got some really great clear and colored glitter dip powders. So I'm gonna go get some of those. I've got some red that I have picked out especially for the hat. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glitter there. And then I've got like a pale gray glitter I might just bump his beard with a little bit. Yeah, it's subtle, which is, you know, saying something for me. 'Cause when it comes to my nail designs, subtle's not always one of the words I would use. I'll give him a little bit of extra on his hat floof. Yeah, all right. Give that 10 seconds. All right, so, oh, didn't mean to bump that there. So we are gonna add glitter using clear gel polish base coat. Let's see. And I've got my favorite brand here. Hurry up, Aaron. Got my Savalan base coat and top coat. The top coat is my absolute fave. All right, now, there are some really great things when you're doing any sort of glitter embellishment with a dry glitter or dip powder and a gel, because since the clear base coat won't dry until you decide to cure it, you have time to play. So, oh, well, it's jumping all over the place here. So I'm going to take my little brush here, and I am going to just add some clear base coat here, just on his hat. I'm gonna put that in the alcohol. Now, this is the red that I have. It is from MISSI, whatever. Yeah, MTSSII. It's just an inexpensive dip powder that I have had on hand for a while. You can see how glittery that is. So I'm gonna do the pour over method. Make sure I'm on camera here when I do it. Okay, let's see what we've got. Oh yes, love, love, love. Yep, it's exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna just step it in here just a little bit. I like the part towards the top of his cap to be a little bit glitterier. That's pretty awesome. No complaints. All right, I'm gonna cure it. You'll see how the glitter is kind of adhering to those. It's okay, because they'll brush off. So the only glitter that's gonna stay is what's actually been grabbed by the clear base coat. So let's give it a quick cure. And then I'm gonna get a little brush here and brush the other glitter off. That is one thing about glitter, much as I love it, and I love it, it can contaminate other things if they're sticky, etc. So we're gonna give this one a little dust off. I'm gonna give it a little bit longer cure, because when I dust it off, I don't want to smear my little elf hat here, because it's super cute. Excuse me, gnome hat. All right, oop, of course I moved my camera. So smart. All right, now it's really important to cover any liquids you have when you brush off glitter, because she goes everywhere. So I've just got a little brush, and I'm gonna brush off here into the container. See how we did. All right, there might be a little tiny bit of red glitter transfer into my little polka dots, but I don't care. All right, I am gonna go ahead and add just a touch more glitter to the top of his hat, because, you know, why not? It's my gnome. I'll do what I want to. Doesn't need much. Make sure I'm on camera when I do it. Dear Santa, please bring me a GoPro and a boom arm. I've been a relatively good girl this year. You know, relatively. All right, so we're just gonna, again, pour over method. This is where having those, see? Oh, well, I did that, I was already on a camera. Having cupcake liners to do this in is great, but you know, I just grabbed it in a hurry and that's how it is. So 30 seconds, and that's how I'm gonna do the other side. And then I'm gonna debate. I've got some really pretty pale gray glitter. I think I might add a couple enhancements to Mr. Gnome's beard. Then I'm gonna top coat this and we're done, kids. See how it turned out, okay? Then I got my liquids covered up before I start throwing glitter everywhere. All right, let's see how she did. All right, that is pretty stinking cute. Definitely Christmassy. All right, I'll put this up a second. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do the gray on the one gnome, and then I'll do the other hand. And then I'll show y'all what it's like completely done. So again, when you're moving from glitter color to glitter color, you need to make sure your brushes are completely clean and glitter free. Otherwise, you'll have illegal migration of your glitters. All right, so I've just got a really fine brush. I'm just gonna take my little brush and I'm just gonna put some dots here on his beard. I wanna stay away from his nose, otherwise he'll have a gray, glittery nose. I need to go see the dermatologist. I don't know if it's hard for gnomes to get in to see the dermatologist, but it's hard for people to see the dermatologist, so we don't wanna go there. All right, so we've got that little bit on there. Cover my liquids. See how pretty that is? All right, so here goes nothing. All right, let's go ahead and we'll cure it. As you can see, it just adds a little bit of interest there in his beard. And I'll be back with the finished Manny. Hey guys, so here is the finished look. I walked out into my front yard so you could see this manicure in the sunshine where you could see all the pretty glitters. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. This red poly gel, I was impressed with how it cured. It was not soft at all. It fully cured on the underside. And I feel like even though this is the lazy girl method, this poly gel I think cured very nicely on the underside. So I'm not worried about it popping off prematurely. See if you can see Mr. Gnome. He's so cute. All right, I'm gonna see if I can switch hands. There you go, and there is the left hand. Keep it out of the shade. So anyway, pretty happy with how that turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you get some really great ideas for your manicures from it. And as always, if I can help you with any of your real estate needs, give me a call, 256-783-9248. And in the meantime, happy manicures, y'all. Bye now.